Hello, everyone. I would like to first thank the organizer for giving me this opportunity to share with all of you a bit of the historic of the CSQCD. This is the marketing aspect of this meeting, so I'm going to try to be as brief as possible. Okay, here you go. So my name is Rachid Ouyed. I'm the chair of the CSQCD meeting. So here I'm going to give you a very brief overview of the history of CSQCD. And I'm going to add a note to this talk, which is the Indian connection, because I got involved in nuclear physics and QCD and the equation of states of nuclear matter through Indian collaborators and teachers of mine at McMaster University who are from India. So this is something I'll discuss later. Personally, my expertise is in plasma physics and high energy and explosive astrophysics. I'll let you a bit more. So the story of CSQCD began when I was an assistant professor at the Nordic Institute for Theoretical Astrophysics in Denmark. Nordita was located within the Niels Bohr Institute. So this was an environment where astrophysicists working on compact stars and nuclear / QCD physicists working on equation of states of neutron matter or exotic phases of quark matter mingled every day. What you realize very quickly is that actually they were not communicating their knowledge. They were not really sharing their expertise. That's really what gave birth to the idea of CSQCD, compact stars in the QCD phase diagram. And the first one was organized in Copenhagen under Nordita. But I have to say that we were happily surprised when we had the support of an international community, including Frank Wolczek, Krishna Rajagopal, and Chris Pethick. They understood very quickly the importance of such a meeting. And these are individuals with groups working on different conditions of the QCD phase diagram, different environment, different temperature, different densities. So when we pushed the idea of CSQCD in the early 2000s, they didn't hesitate to support the initiative. So what we realized very quickly when we had the first meetings that actually there's no communication at all between astrophysicists working on compact stars and nuclear physicists working on the equation of states of dense matter and QCD physicists working on exotic phases of quark matter, which was understandable because they had their own fish to fry. Felt like they have so many challenges they face within their own research areas that they didn't have time to collaborate or share what they learned with others. So I thought that we had to push the concept of CSQCD and try to build as many bridges as we can between these communities. That's what it came about. So my goal was to really have CSQD to act as the glue, if you like, that binds these three communities together. Okay? And I pushed very hard to have proceedings associated with each meeting and have the proceedings as teaching and learning tools for everyone who wanted to go from one group to another, as well as teaching and learning tools for students interested in these research areas. So that's more or less where it started, and it grew organically. We were actually very surprised on how many people around the world interested in the concept of CSQCD. And you discover very quickly that it was an arena that was missing. If you like, it was a game of chess that people were playing with the QCD phase diagram as the chessboard, but they had all the pieces, but they didn't really know how to share them. So what you're looking at here are the CSQCD meetings we have had so far. from Denmark to China to Brazil to Germany to Italy to Russia to the US. And unfortunately, the India one has been postponed, and there's Canada coming up, and Japan is in the list as well. But what you discover as you participate in these meetings over the last years is that it created an environment where astrophysicists learned a lot about nuclear physics and QCD. I have had people thanking me for allowing them to learn firsthand the difference between UD matter and UDS matter, up and down strange matter versus up and down strange quark matter. I've had, on the same time, nuclear and QCD physicists tell me that they didn't realize the challenges astrophysicists face when trying to measure the radius of a neutron star. Others working on QCD didn't realize that there were other channels to form a neutron star, example via binary channels. So the more meetings we organized and the more participants showed up, the more we served the purpose. And the more the idea and the goal of CSQD crystallized naturally and organically. But personally, what I liked is basically the new generation of scientists from the three groups who brought with them, as they participate in the CSQCD meetings, who brought with them the new technical methods, the codes they use, new numerical techniques that actually we have never seen before. So it's so my hope actually is to have a CSQCD meeting solely concentrated on computational techniques used by the different groups and see if we can learn from each other. It's just snippets of the exchanges and sharing of knowledge within and between the different groups that CSQCD allowed. You can find many more crucial topics covered in the proceedings because this is a short talk. I don't want to spend too much time on this. So if you go to quarknova.ca/csqcd.html, you get much more information about the purpose of CSQCD meeting, who attends the meeting, the goals that the students play in those meetings, and what have you. By the way, if the link might not be working right now because it's being revamped, but you can give it a try. Yeah. So when you go to each one of those meetings, you'll find the homepage, the proceedings, the program, and in the proceedings, you find the presentations, the papers, and in the archive and the PDF forms. What's interesting, you will see actually the evolution of CSQCD meeting. And what you will see as well as you go from CSQCD 1 to CSQCD 5 or 4, you will see actually talks and papers appearing co-authored by astrophysicists and QCD physicists together, right? Something that we achieved in CSQCD, allowing the opportunity for people to write papers from different groups, right? What happens also is that the topic of the CSQCD meetings evolved in time, and it evolved according to the latest discoveries, the latest equation of states, the latest measurements of mass of neutron stars. So basically, we try to stay with the flow. This is one we had in Brazil, and of course, the number of participants increased over time as well. And you will see when you go to the CSQCD webpage that the topics covered really evolved with the interest of the community. And also the number of topics covered grew with the number of participants, which was natural. And of course, the size of proceedings as well increased. What I was happy to see is that student participation increased organically as well. I guess what happens as supervisors hear about CSQCD meetings, they encourage their students to join and participate because it's an environment where students get knowledge from experts. This is the one that was held in Germany in 2014. As we know, it's always a beautiful environment. This one is Gran Sasso in Italy. And you will see that the organizing committee and the international steering committee as well is growing. This is the one organized in Dubna, Russia, and the QCD phase diagram is evolving as well as the meetings are being held. And what I like about this poster is that you have the QCD phase diagram next to a picture of supernova that more or less portrays the spirit of CSQCD meetings. And the latest one was in New York in the US, and it was successful as well. So as the meeting grew, the interest in the meeting grew, and the International Steering Committee grew as well. And now there are about 15 members or more. I would like to have up to 20 members. And it's truly an international steering committee with people from Argentina, USA, Germany, China. I would like to see more presence in the ISC. The ISC turned out to be crucial to the success of CSQCD because every single member brought in the experience, the expertise, and all the connections they have with the 3 different communities. So every individual as we're looking at here somehow have those connections to the 3 groups, which is very crucial for the success of the meeting and for the goal of the meeting, which is actually bringing the communities together to share knowledge and plan for the future. So what we do as the ISC, we get together during each meeting and we actually seriously discuss what has been accomplished and where we're heading with the CSQCD. And one of our main goals right now is to attract more students, more of the young generation, and also steer the meeting towards a bit more of the computational aspect of studies of the QCD phase diagram and the compact stars. So we need the new generation to come in with artificial intelligence, with machine learning, whatever they have. So this is more or less the spice we need for CSQCD future. This is a personal note on the Indian connection, and this is on how I got involved in the equation of states of neutron matter, and from there, how I got involved in quark matter, and why when I was in Nordita in Denmark, having the CSQCD meeting was a natural thing for me. When I was a grad student at McMaster University in Canada, that's where I did my master's and my PhD, you quickly exposed to the teachings of Mel Preston and Rajat Baduri. And between their 2 books, which we had to digest as graduate students, you very quickly learn the connection between quarks and skyrmions, and you very quickly learn the importance of equation of state to understand nuclear matter, and also the importance of the equation of state if you want to build the compact stars. Basically, the TOV equations require knowledge of the equation of state. So nuclear physics is critical. This is something you learn from them, especially from Mel Preston. What I learned from Baduri was the Sturm-Lagrangian. As you can see in his book, Quarks to Soliton, which is quarks to skyrmion in this case, you very quickly learn that the Sturm-Lagrangian really has properties that are naturally connected to QCD. So these 7 points are listed here. It's something I quickly wrote down. These are ideas that have been tattooed. That's the word I use. Have been tattooed in my mind by Rajat. Okay, he always had his door open. He's always excited about physics. He always shared his knowledge. And whenever he sees you as a grad student interested in nuclear physics or QCD, he is interested in talking to you. That's the kind of person he was. And understood very quickly from him that, if I wanted to work on the equation of states of nuclear matter, why not start with the Sturm-Lagrangian? Because Witten in '79 suggested that connection between a large NC QCD and baryons or solitons. In other words, if you take the 1/NC expansion of QCD, you find properties that are very similar to the Sturm-Lagrangian embeds. So that's how I got involved into and how I got interested into working on equation of states of neutron matter. So I thought, why not use a Lagrangian that connects nuclear matter and quark matter to build a unifying equation of states? That's how it started. So it's through Rajat. Okay. And lo and behold, this led to the Ouyed-Bagchi-Jaikumar equation of state. So we took the Sturm Lagrangian, we tweaked it a little bit, and we were able to get a very stiff equation of state. Okay, and of course, Manjari and Prashanth are the two co-organizers of this meeting, and hopefully they will soon organize CSQCD in India, which means a lot to me. As you can see, so this green curve here is the mass versus radius of neutron stars you get using the OBJ equation of state. And the red region is the region allowed by observation of mass measurement. Don't tell me what objects are these because I don't remember. But you can see that our equation of state is one of the few that could actually agree with observations. Incidentally, if we add rotation, we can easily get 2.7 solar mass neutron stars. So having a 2.6 solar mass neutron star is not a big deal when you start with a Sturm-Lagrangian and tweak it a little bit. That's what the OBJ equation of states allowed us to do. So from Rajat to Skirmians to Manjari to Prashanth, things got much more interesting to me because when I realized that the Sturm-Lagrangian had QCD, if you like, embedded in it, I always ask a question, why not quark stars? It's the next step. And I asked again, Mel Preston and Baduri, and I said, oh, is it possible to have quark star forming in a supernova? And Mel Preston was the supervisor on Norm Glendening. And Norm Glendening did his master's thesis at McMaster University. Norm is Canadian. And Mel Preston told me, oh, a former student of mine just wrote a book about compact stars, and in there he has chapters about quark stars. And that's how I get to know Norm Glendening, and that's how I got interested in quark stars, going from the Sturm approach, of course. At the same time, Rajat mentioned Jishnu Day. He said, oh, I have a colleague of mine from India, Jishnu, who actually works on quark stars. So why don't you read his work? And he said, Jishnu fits your interests perfectly because he also works on the Sturm-Lagrangian. So there you go. So now from Rajat to Jishnu and then Prashanth. And so I've been introduced to compact stars and QCD through this Indian connection. And that's why I wanted to mention it briefly. So when I moved to Denmark, the first thing I did was invite Jishnu and Mira Day to Nordita. And we brainstormed a lot about Sturm-Lagrangian and quark stars. And I have to admit, they converted me to UDS matter, to strange quark matter. It was a strange thing to say, no pun intended, but they converted me to UDS. I wanted to really approach quark matter and quark equation of states through the Sturm-Lagrangian, but they had developed their own equation of states that's much simpler. And that's what we adopted in the Quark Nova paper. Incidentally, the Quark Nova paper was more of a teaser. We wrote a simple paper in order, again, to see if we can get the interests of the two communities together through this paper. So that's how I get to basically to get involved in compact stars, equation of states. And so all of this is the seed really that was preparing me to CSQCD. So when I went to Nordita, an environment where I had all the communities together, it just, it was natural for me to push that idea of CSQCD. So for me, having CSQCD in India in 2020 was a very happy event. I was really excited about it, and I was really thankful to ICTS to allow that. And of course, COVID-19 did not allow that. So I don't know how to proceed from here forward, because the CSQCD 9 was supposed to be held in Canada in 2021. Now it's being pushed to 2022. No matter what, whether India goes first or Canada goes second, I think the plan is to have Canada go first before India. I truly hope that ICTS will host CSQCD in India, because for me it's a nice way of closing the loop to the role Indians had in making CSQCD start. So I'm going to try to pronounce this. So I apologize if I butcher this, and I apologize for my accent, but Kanyavat Ore Kachivat Okay. Thank you, everyone.